right, the champ is here. I'm back again. I never left. We have Cool Kenneth. He's always ready to with the best rock and roll. Champ is here, drops and beat, and we always rock the world and drop the beat because this radio show is the best radio show from Como to the Congo. If you're in Fort Worth, you know where Como's at, and if you're in the world, clearly you are because you're listening in. Well, you're listening to me. You should know where the Congo's at. And if you don't know, you need to ask somebody. Loved by many, hated by few, respected by all. I'm second to none. And that's the reason why people are coming here to this radio podcast. And that's the reason why we want you to share it across all of the social media platforms, such as Ed Grade 1906 on Twitter, Ed Grade 1906. That's right, on Instagram, and the YouTube channel, Ed Grade, The Commish Radio. We got to go ahead and advertise it like that. And on our Roku channel, Viz TV, well, it's The Commish Radio Show. That's what we got going on. And advertising rates are at down low pandemic rates because we want you to get your message out. And that's the reason why all of the people are coming on this radio show to talk about their business, right? Like, for example, Judge Mike Jones. Who?
Mike Jones.
Mike Jones. Let's move that mic closer to you.
All right now.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Now just get closer to it, man.
Okay.
There you go. There we
right.
go. Right there. All right. Mike Jones, what's up, man?
Man, how you doing, Mr. Ed Gray? Mr. Ed Gray, legendary Ed Gray.
Oh, man, you making me feel good, man. Making me feel good. I've known you now for about, how many years now has it been?
Oh, my goodness. It's probably been it's getting close to about 10,
okay.
7, 10.
Yeah,
Close to that.
Yeah, when you
About
were running for office, you weren't running for JP at that time. You was running for...
I was in the City Council for Glen Heights.
Yeah.
That's how we linked up then, when I was in City Council for Glen Heights.
Right. You were a young man coming up and everything. And I was telling you about how it was for me when I was running for local position in the Arlington School District and everything. And this is local campaigns are what they are.
Mm-hmm.
But, how did you do in that campaign?
Well, I won the campaign. Of course, I served at the City Council for Glen Heights. And from there, as well as I was elected the mayor pro tem at that time during my term in Glen Heights.
Okay.
So,
then what did you do after that?
From that, there's a lot of things I've actually did with that. I've served as the criminal justice chair for the NAACP while on that time. I've served on various development boards at that time because I was really involved into the community. I've actually worked for the city of Dallas as well, working in the IT department. Doing a lot of the support for our public safety, which is very important as well. So we have a lot of different virus experience in government, in the real estate industry, because it's crazy how it is now, and also higher education, because I'm also an instructor as well at the local college.
When do you sleep?
When I get home I sleep when I get home, after the kids, after the family. That's when I go to sleep. But, it's all about time management and ensuring that you have quality on everything you do.
Yeah, you said family. You married, family?
Yes, I have a wife, 4 kids, which is 17, 13, 10, and then we have a 2-year-old.
You didn't know it was going to be math involved.
Oh, yeah.
How many kids do you have? How many?
We have 4. Yeah, we have 4 total, and also we have a dog and a hamster.
And a hamster.
And a hamster.
Hamster.
Absolutely.
Why a hamster?
Well, my daughter asked for it.
Okay, man. When I was a kid coming up, it was like you don't get hamsters, man. It's like
no, I actually had a hamster before.
You had a hamster?
I had a hamster as a kid.
How old are you?
I'm 38.
You 38? Okay, yeah, that's about the time when black folks started having hamsters. But but when I was there, we didn't do that. I'm an old dude, man. So it's like,
you're not
too
old.
much like
you're seasoned, brother. You're
seasoned.
Yeah.
That's what you tell people when you like them. You call them seasoned. You don't like them, you're just old.
Experience.
Yeah, experience. Yeah. Well, experience now. Now you've been Justice of the Peace, Precinct 4. Now you're now experienced now.
Absolutely.
So how long have you been in office now?
I was elected in 2018. I started office in January of 2019. So what, about 3 years, I would say, and 3.5, well, about 3.25 right now.
3.25.
Mm-hmm.
And Justice of the Peace Precinct 4, your platform, and we can go ahead and put the screenshot of his card, his push cards.
The platform is actually an acronym of FAST, all right, F-A-S-T, which is forward thinking, accessibility and accountability, systems improvement, as well as trustworthiness.
Okay.
So, it's a lot of things that we actually have had. It's been very phenomenal things with the court, and of course, areas like anybody else that we approve on, and we want to make ourselves better at.
All right. Okay. Let's go ahead and go back to the live screenshot. So people now have seen the push card. So where is precinct 4?
Precinct 4, and I'm currently place 1 because there's 2 places,
Place
1 and 2. The precinct covers the city of Carrollton, Coppell, which was recently added. You have Grand Prairie, Irving, DeSoto, which is a portion of DeSoto, and Cedar Hill.
Now, Coppell and Carrollton.
Yes, as of November 2nd, we was redistricted. Our lines were redrawn, and we had took upon a couple cities and some got drawn out. So yeah, they added Carrollton and Coppell to our current precinct.
Which ones did they draw out? I'm interested in that.
They drawn out the city of Ovilla, city of Glen Heights. We had a very, very small portion of Dallas and Duncanville as well.
Duncanville,
Mm-hmm.
Glen Heights. You still live in Glen Heights?
No. I stay in DeSoto.
You stay in DeSoto.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so you can still vote for yourself, obviously.
Absolutely, yes.
I mean, because if you live in Glen Heights, it's like, wow, they pull out your base like that. That seems like that's your base, man.
Yeah, well, hey, I guess it's part of the process, unfortunately.
What process is that you think that occurs that could help you? I mean, I had Ed Wright, who's the constable. He was on, and he said that we get elected. He said we get elected to serve everybody, not just specific neighborhoods.
Absolutely.
So this portion here, this process that just occurred, how can that help Carrollton and Coppell?
Well, to be honest, it doesn't matter what city that's being represented, as long as you have, as long as your campaign is clear, your direction, your voice is clear, what you're standing on, as long as your platform is clear and concise, and if your record and if your background speaks for itself, then I think the people will vote for you no matter what city you're in. And as long as you get out and engage voters in understanding and keeping them informed and not misinformed information, then people look at the information and make the best judgment on who they're going to vote for in that booth.
2020 Outstanding Service Award recipient, Dallas Lawyers Magazine.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about that.
That was from my work in the community, as well as out on the bench, because most people think that a judge that your job stops at 5 p.m. or 4 p.m. or whenever court closes, and it actually doesn't. We actually get outside of the community and do various different events, such as we teamed up with our Precinct 4 officials, our constable and other current judge, and we hosted it we hosted a State of the Precinct. So when you have those State of the Cities and State of the Unions, where you would talk about all the things that have been going on in your specific area, we hosted that, which is the first ever at that precinct. So it was more of an information session, inviting our local leaders and our local community officials. We've also partnered together and did a food drive together, and we gave away over, I think, about 300 boxes of food for families, even during the middle of a pandemic. And we just kind of shifted and still go out and do different things. So the award I won is a multitude of a lot of things that I've done. I mean, I actually get out to the community and I do Meals on Wheels. And it slowed down with the pandemic.
But I personally do the Meals on Wheels?
I personally do Meals on Wheels. I get in my own vehicle in between some court hearings and sessions. They're not late now, but I get in between those sessions. I get out, drive, and I deliver food for individuals in the city of Grand Prairie. And earlier in my term, when I first got in within 2019, I actually had my staff go out, and go out and during the lunchtime, and we volunteered at North Texas Food Bank. And we actually put a lot of boxes together. And there's a lot of things that are untold and unheard of that we just do, because I don't put everything out on social media. We just do it and keep going because it's about what's right and about serving.
All right. Since you don't put a lot out on social media, that gives me an opportunity to ask you about social media. Where can we find you on social media?
Absolutely. You can go to my handles on Facebook, Judge Mike Jones. You can easily just search up Judge Mike Jones, and of course you'll find me on there. Well, my page. You can also look at Instagram, Judge Mike Jones as well. Very simple. Just put that in, you'll find me.
Judge
Or
Mike Jones.
if you couldn't, just say you're not savvy on searching up, you can go to my website at judgemikejones.com, and I have the little indicators. You can click the Facebook, take you straight to Facebook, or the like icon that'll take you straight to Instagram as well, so you can find out what I've actually done on there.
So you social media savvy. That's that 38-year-old.
But yeah, we got because to be honest, social media touches a lot of people, and you want to make sure you're informing people. Because especially during the pandemic, a lot of stuff shifted to online. Like even with a lot of our hearings, a lot of stuff shifted virtual, and you just got to adapt to the pandemic and how things and society is going.
So how else did the pandemic affect your ability to adjudicate?
Well, when the pandemic first hit, me and the other elected judges, all of them, doesn't matter what party you're at, we all got together, worked with our county judge. And we signed a joint order to temporary halt evictions. So we did that, and once that halted, we also had situations where the Dallas County offices were closing to the public. So that right there slows down your work process, and it puts everything to a halt when everything started closing down, and you're kind of shifting to see where you're going at. And so when that happens is you got to shift people as well. People from our office as well have also got exposed to the COVID-19 at that time. And when that happens, you would have people that could be out on leave. But even though people think that we closed, we still was working. I still was working on the back end. We still would have to handle certain evictions for people for domestic violence situations. So you could be in a situation where you're trying to evict this person, and it's a domestic violence situation. And even though the pandemic and all the government office stopped it, we still held events virtually, and this time it was over Zoom in those dire months to make sure people can be safe in their homes as well, with the looks of homes. But also, it affects quality. When you're having to shut things down, you have the staff that goes out. You have to have the staff to shift into positions they're not really familiar for. So sometimes your quality can go down in your work. But that's where you revamp and you retrain and you redo your processes.
That sounds like you had to do a lot of shifting on that. You also allow virtual weddings.
Yeah, we had a couple virtual weddings as well. We had people that really wanted to get married. And of course, that was in the county. We just, they wanted that service that we provide. We want to make sure we still provide that service, and I will make sure the citizens and the constituents get that service.
Well, it looks like you making sure that the court is still actively running during this pandemic.
Absolutely. I mean, is everything perfect? Absolutely not. But we just got to keep shifting, going, making adjustments, and do the job we was elected to do.
Now, I want to ask you one other question before we go to our break, and this is the question regarding initiating online payment options for civil cases, because this goes back into the new era in which we're doing things through social media and being savvy, tech savvy and everything. How is that? You mean to tell me, to just straight up, before that, you had to always come inside the courtroom? You couldn't do this online?
Absolutely. Only thing you could do was pay a ticket online, and that was it. If you want to file a case in the court, you had to physically come down to the court and file that case. We made that, also in addition to that, we made that ability where you can file your cases and you can do everything online and through an electronic filing system, which is the first court to actually implement that program. But initially when I first started, and I'm glad you brought that up, people would in essence come in and they want to take care of a ticket. Okay, and before at the court, you either would pay the ticket in full, or you would get a warrant. So there was no payment plans, no community service at the court. That right there brings people into a cycle of poverty, where either I'm going to pay this ticket so I don't have this warrant, or I'm going to pay my rent or my mortgage or food, for my family. So one of the first things I did is reinstated payment plans to reduce that cycle of poverty, and add back to and make criminal justice reform as well, which I think is very important. But when we talk about the online initiatives, Dallas County's system, we're still on a 30-year-old mainframe system, and we still have paper, manila folders, which leads to so many issues, errors, and filings. And so my initiative has been, as I'm working with other offices as well, as becoming paperless, and getting rid of that and streamlining our processes. But yeah, but most everything had to come into court, and let's say, how can we conduct business remotely, especially with the pandemic as well. So that's where right now we're on track into starting a brand new software system, which I'm leading with our other Justice of the Peace colleagues, and we're going to get away from this paper, and we're going to go to an online system that communicates with other systems in Dallas County, because we have 3 or 4 different systems that do not communicate to each other. So you're constantly having to do double checking work.
All right. Oh, cool, Kenneth. We got the folks there ready to, handle up on some business during the second half of the Commish Radio Show. And when we come back, well, can you handle this? All right, cool, Kenneth, let's roll.
Hi, my name is Gail Todd with Townview Realtors. If you find yourself in the market to buy, sell, lease, or maybe you want to be a part of this hot real estate market by investing, just give my team of professionals and I a call at 214-675-9572. Again, that's 214-675-9572. Or you can email me at gtodd88@yahoo.com. With me, it's all about you.
Hello, I'm Chris Howell, co-founder of the Chris Howell Foundation. The Chris Howell Foundation, our goal is to strengthen individuals and families in the areas of financial literacy, mental health, and health in general. If you need assistance in any of these areas, I invite you today to go and check out our website, chrishowellfoundation.org. That's chrishowellfoundation.org.
Good afternoon. This is Aisha Redmond, candidate for judge of the 160th District Court. And when I'm in the DFW area, I love listening to the Commish Radio Show between 1 to 3 on Saturdays. Vote Aisha Redmond for judge.
Hi, this is Dominique Collins. I am the judge of Criminal District Court number 4 in Dallas County. I'm also the judge of your Dallas County veterans, serving veterans all over the Metroplex. And when I want to know what's in the hearts, minds of Dallas County, I listen to the Commish Radio Show.
Look what you've done to me. I never thought I'd be like this until
This is John Creuzot, your Democratic candidate for District Attorney for Dallas County. Thank you to the Commish and Ed Gray and the Commish Radio Show.
I know you want me when I walk in the club. I see you looking out the corner of your eye. Trying to act like you don't know what's up, like you didn't even see me walk by. You stay by the bar drinking, but I know what you are thinking. You wanna know if I can move, well, watch me put these moves on you. You pretend that you're unsure.
Can you handle this? Can you handle how I put these moves on you? The best way we have on this radio show is getting people, people like Mike Jones, here out of the courtroom and right here in the Commission's chambers here to see what's going on in the community. We are about to move to Bedford, Texas. I always talk about it, but we have some people that are going to be rolling to Bedford, Texas with us. And hey, we're going to be doing interviews in Bedford starting February the 7th. February the 7th, we will be doing interviews there. The opening week, we have Judge Sandra Jackson. She will be there as well. And we will we'll have some other folks that's coming through as well. But we're still here at the ballpark. The ballpark. And we will be closing out with Edward Oakpaw, who will be here during the second hour. And then tomorrow we will have Philip Kingston, who's running for Dallas County Commissioner. He'll be here. And the last show here in this studio is Jane Hamilton, who's running for United States Congress. She'll be here as well. Follow us, Ed Gray 1906 on Twitter and Instagram. All right. Can you handle this? And you can also handle this CD. We have these on sale as well here at the Fishbowl Radio Studios. All right. Can you handle this? Can you handle this, man? Look, I've been seeing a lot of things on Facebook lately, man. Some of them involved you. This audit thing. What's up with the audit, man?
Well, the one that I want to make sure people are informed.
Make sure everyone here. Let's pull.
Make sure everybody's informed and not misinformed.
Got it.
Every government entity, of course, has checks and balances. You want to make sure that you want to measure and see how things are going. As me, as anybody else judges, we all get audited, and it's a statutory audit that happens to every judges from the prior year. So the audit I think that floats around, which is the same audit that all Justice of the Peace has, reflects what's happening. And when I say it's subjective, is not taking into account staffing levels that we currently have at our court, people out on leave, and a lot of different factors as well. So it's just a snapshot of what you see right now. For my audit, particularly, it just showed that, hey, a lot of clerical errors come out of my court, and the opportunity for training, in which those I've already addressed those. So pretty much you have, like with anybody, if you're over an organization or you're held responsible, and you have people in place taking care of their job, if they don't do their jobs correctly, you got to make staffing adjustments.
Let me ask you a question, follow up on that. Everyone was audited on this, or just you?
Every judge audited every year.
Because I receive various emails that come through, and DMs that come through Facebook, and the one I received, they said that you audited, and I'm like, that ain't good. And it's like the Internal Revenue audits somebody. Like, Internal Revenue does not audit somebody and say, guess what? We found some money that you didn't put down, and we're gonna go ahead and give you more. They never say that. No. Audits are never good. And in my former job in corporate America, you always have checks and balances. So everyone receives this audit?
Absolutely. Every judge receives it. And, of course, the auditor's office have their own rolling schedule. So I couldn't say, who's getting audited this year or what. But they have their own schedule on how they do this. And as soon as the audit is produced, it's immediately published to the public, and it's online. And you can view that at dallascounty.org in the auditor's office, and you can view mine as well as other courts as well. And when we talk about the audit, all the audits are pretty much the same. And so that kind of leads to the systems improvement portion of my platform. We are on a 30-year-old mainframe. So if you have paper files, and sometimes a file can get misplaced, I don't care how best balanced system you have, you have room for error. If you do not have a system that will talk to other systems and drive things together, things will slip through the cracks at times. I don't care how polished your system are. But one of the accomplishments that I have is I'm actually on an IT steering committee in which we are improving all of the Justice Peace Courts softwares. And so what that means is we're going from all this paper manila folders to now a streamlined system. And it can accurately report our numbers, financials, and everything to be up to date with this current 21st century or 22nd century. So it's very important that we want to be very informed and not misinformed on what people may say. Hey, look at this, but okay, well, let's look at the whole picture and see what's going on out there. And with anybody, with any elected official, if you or any department head, if you have staff that's not taking care of business, you're going to make adjustments and put staff in to make sure your ship is running correctly.
What specifically occurred that's in that audit that you had to make course directions?
Yeah,
course corrections, rather.
I would say more of training, the quality of work. My biggest thing is customer service and quality of work. I want to make sure when somebody comes there, they get quality of work that is done, meaning that all I's are dotted, T's are crossed. If you go to Walmart and you get an oil change, you expect the oil to go back into that vehicle and everything is put back together. Same thing is when you come to my court. I expect high customer service. I expect for these cases to move appropriately, and I expect everything to move efficiently and fairly. And so the things that we identified is really just training and clerical issues, which go from training. If my staff are not trained correctly, they are not going to produce the quality of work that I want, and that's not what's going to happen up under my leadership.
Did you have to let anyone go? Because sometimes you have to let people go.
Yes, I have to let people go and make staff changes. Yes. You know, I can't talk about individual the staff change, but yeah, I had to make staff changes so we can make sure.
Oh, I didn't ask you to say their name or anything like that, because it just seemed like if I'm employed with somebody, who if I'm running something, which clearly you are, and somebody that reports to me, they do something, then it reflects on me, and sometimes, you know, those things have consequences.
Absolutely, and one of the things is it's we at that court. It's not just me. However, at the end of the day, my name is signed on every document that leaves that court. All right, and my name is on the front of the windows of that court. And I want to make sure when people come in, they do not have a bad experience with our staff, and I want to make sure they are treated fairly within my court. So if that involves me having to make staff adjustments, I absolutely will.
So those folks that are listening in to the Commish Radio Show Facebook Live podcast, stay tuned. We will have this on YouTube as well. And some people may be listening in for the very first time or may not be aware of what the Justice of the Peace does. What exactly, like you know, Tommy or Martin, what exactly do you do, man?
We do a lot. No, they're not.
That's what Tommy answered too.
Tommy don't go to work, but I'm at work.
We do a lot.
Yeah. So one of the biggest things you see is evictions. We do a lot of real estate evictions, a lot of civil claims, small claims cases. So if you had an issue with your neighbor, let's say a tree fell in the yard and that tree falls and something, you guys can't work it out, you come sue them in court, you come to my court. We do a lot of debt claims. So if you have a situation where you have a credit card you default on or a loan you default on, you don't pay it, it gets charged off, the creditors can come back and they can sue you for that card.
Oh, so it goes to your court?
Absolutely.
So when people say, I'm not going to pay that, they say they have that card, and they say, I'm not going to pay that, and they just say, it's going to be on my credit report, and they blow it off. You actually hear that?
Yeah, I hear thousands of those cases. We also do tow hearings. So if you stay in an apartment or somewhere you feel like that the person illegally towed your car, we have tow hearings. We have property hearings. If it could be a stolen vehicle or it could be a stolen property that's with the police department, they will come and testify upon the court. We do weddings. We officiate weddings. We do mental health warrants.
Mental health warrants. Break that down.
So a lot of situations you have a loved one. Let's just say you have a loved one and they may be talking to themselves, having psychiatric issues, or they could already have went to a psychiatric institution and not taking the medication. You want to bring them in, of course, to get them in and have them brought into a center to be evaluated. We do those mental health warrants, which has been a rising tick, especially coming out of COVID. Well, in COVID right now. We also
it's one of the hidden costs of COVID. Yeah, hidden costs of COVID because things change. We talk about the new normal everything's new, but it's not normal. And that's like one of those things you were talking about.
Yeah, and I think that with anything when it's not talked about or not addressed, it's one of them deals or it's that elephant in the room that's still there. And I have, matter of fact, I have a seminar. We'll talk about that later on, or unless you want to talk about it now, because I'm actually hosting a mental health seminar to address the rising uptick of mental health warrants.
Go for it. Let's talk about it.
All right. So what I've noticed is within my court, we get a lot of people to come in and say, hey, mother, son, daughter, whatever, whoever it is, are having a mental health crisis, or they could be talking to themselves, or they could be acting out erratically, or they could be have run-ins with the police, and so they need help, and so we're there to help. So I've noticed that we've had I believe this has been about I'm going to say about a 200% increase And I'm so initially 2020 it was like 9 hearings, not including ones who've inquired, by 9 specific warrants that may have been signed for me. That tripled to 24 this past year in 2021, with I think about 2 in this month alone. And so with me, that's a problem. If I'm starting to see that there's an issue out here, there's an opportunity for us to bring somebody together, in which that's where this mental health seminar comes into place. We're going to bring in different organizations who need longer term care. We sign a warrant, that person get picked up, get evaluated, they get let back out in 12 to 16, maybe 24 hours. Right back doing the same thing. There's a gap right there. And so now there's longer term care that people need. Longer term care could be expensive going into an in-treatment facility. Now we got organizations that can provide indigent care there to help bridge that gap. In addition to that, we're going to bring in Judge Margaret Jones. She's actually the judge, I would say the judge handles most of all warrants in Dallas County, who's going to help us walk her through the process. We're going to have organizations in that provides longer-term care for if there's substance abuse. We're going to have police departments that are going to be there as well, who have mental health units. So if it's a criminal aspect to it, you can kind of you can follow up with them and say, hey, we're out here to help and bring things together. So that's a seminar I'm hosting. It's going to be on February 4th.
February 4th.
10 a.m. to 12 p.m., Cedar Hill Recreation Center. February 4th, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., Cedar Hill Recreation Center. And I encourage everybody to come on out. It's an information session. No screenings are on site, but allows you to get a list of individuals who you can follow up and see if you can provide longer-term assistance. And we're going to also have COVID-19 free COVID checks as well as on site as well. So we'll have a RV out there checked and see if you need testing and make sure you're good to go. So
how's the testing going in your community?
The COVID testing?
Right.
Honestly, I'm not in it a lot, but what I have seen, I have seen certain sites where I've seen a line of cars.
That's what I was asking.
That
pretty much
are waiting to get tested. I've seen that in a couple spurt locations.
Okay. All right. So we have COVID-19 actions, and work with county officials to ensure COVID-19 protocols were carried out.
What is that? So what that is, I'm
glad
you
see how I did that.
I'm glad you asked
what
that.
I did. Like what?
So
look at the camera. Like.
So what happened is when
I love when you guys put all this on here and be like, you don't think no one's going to ask you these questions.
Yeah, I want you to ask.
Yeah, like, what does that mean?
So when COVID-19 hit, we have to get with our building officials and other administrative, I would say judges as well, and we have to put together a plan on how we're addressing COVID. So with that setting, we have a certain amount of people that can be in the courtroom, spaced out. We put up clear shields in the courtroom as well amongst different parties, and also we reduce the amount of people in the courtroom in docket settings. So let's just say if I typically may have, let's just say 50 parties to a docket, that could possibly mean about 100 people there. If you have 2 people to a party. So we reduce it down to maybe about 20, 25, break them in the early morning. And so you have a crowd of individuals that are actually out there as well. We remove, of course, all of the places that you actually can sit down on the outside of the courtroom to reduce crowding as well, so people don't congregate. And we have a lot of different things we work with, to ensure that people are safe in there. We also provide disinfectants as well. So in the event that we possibly, if we have a case, we can have people that sprays around the courtroom if we have anybody that comes in that could have tested positive for COVID-19.
Let me ask you a question here. Mm-hmm. We talked earlier about mass incarceration, and one of the achievements that it has right here is dismiss 50,000 plus criminal cases that were never handled by the court. All right, some folks say you letting criminals out.
No. So
or you're not picking them up, rather, because you dismissed it.
So what happens is previously cases would be a situation where these cases are not prosecutable. These are mostly just Class C tickets or misdemeanor tickets. And if they're not handled and they're not prosecuted, or these cases could be from 15 years old. And so in essence, if they wasn't handled, in that given time, 15 years old, 10 years old.
So you riding dirty for 15 years.
But the thing is
say riding dirty. You like, man, you had a curl when you did this, and then all of a sudden it's like, dang. You ain't got no hair. You couldn't be me. The person you show here has a curl. That's not me, man.
Yeah. So the thing with those cases is that they're not prosecutable. So, and that's something we work with the DA on as well. He's been phenomenal in helping us out. Well, not with my JP court, but other JP courts as well. We identified these cases where there's no pleas on them, or these cases where the officers could possibly not be there. And they're just sitting there stagnant and say, hey, let's get these off the books and move on with these cases. And so that's what we did. We got together and we worked these cases out.
All right. We heard a couple of drops early, and I love when people from the legal profession come in. I say, you want to do a drop? And they go, what's a drop? Like Dominique Collins did a drop. I said, Judge Collins, would you like to do a drop? She said, what is a drop? Normally in the hood, a drop is like a bad thing. So, or a good thing depending upon which way you want to look at it, But, cool, Kenneth, let's play a couple of drops, and then when we come back, we'll go with the closing.
This is attorney Kim T. Cole of K. Cole Law, PLLC. When I'm not fighting for civil rights and social justice, I keep it locked to Ed Gray on the Commish Radio Show.
My name is Audra Riley, and I listen to the Community Champion Hour on KHVN.
The blackness, keep the game on.
Hey, this is Cheryl Smith, and when I'm looking for news and information, I tune into The Commish on Saturdays.
I got so much trouble on my mind, refuse to lose. Here's your ticket. Here's the drama get wicked. The clue to you to push the back to black attack. So I sack and dap and slack the Mac. Now I'm ready to mic it.
I got so much trouble on my mind, refuse to lose. Welcome to the Terror Dome, Commish Radio Show. We are interviewing JP Mike Jones. Who? Mike Jones. We have him here. And can you handle this? This is what we're doing. We're closing out. We wanted to go ahead and give him an opportunity to close out. That's what we do here on the Commish Radio Show. We like to give everyone an opportunity to come on the show. We are taking, reservations, so to speak, reservations to be here online and also in your homes. But, you heard the drops. You think you can do a drop?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. We don't play no whack music. We don't play the. Could you give them a sample of what we don't play? Okay, this, go ahead and give a sample of what we don't play. Okay, while Cool Kenneth is doing that, you heard a drop Texas Metro News with Cheryl Smith. And in Texas Metro News, we had Michael Hollywood Hernandez. He wrote for the Texas Metro News. Great guy, formerly of K104. He passed away. And just want to go ahead and send our condolences to the family. A great guy. All right, okay, now. You don't want that.
Probably not. I like it, though. Probably not.
How you doing? This is Ed Gray of the Commish Radio Show. Go ahead and play that one. Go ahead, go it up. Yeah, go turn it up. How you doing? This is Ed Gray of the Commish Radio Show. Hey, stay tuned for more here. We're at the ballpark in Arlington. And hey, guess what? You're not here, but we'll be there on Saturdays, 5 p.m.
Where I grew up getting dressed up means, but
hey, that's it.
I actually like the music, honestly.
You honestly like it?
I like the music. Now, I can sit back on that. And because let me tell you something. We're from the country.
Where?
My family's from Louisiana. My wife's family's from Arkansas. So we,
Arkansas? What part of Arkansas?
South Arkansas.
What part?
Magnolia, McNeil.
Yeah, Waldo.
Yeah, you know about that. Waldo, small town.
McNeil, Stamps.
Yeah, Stamps, El Dorado. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, hey. So yeah, I know all about that because that's my family. They from around that part.
Really?
My father was from Fordyce, Arkansas.
I heard of that.
Burden. You know, it's spelled Burden, but you don't say it. You say Burden. It's sort of like Lancaster. You don't say Lancaster. Yeah, it's Lancaster.
I say Lancaster.
You must not be from around there, man.
Yeah, I'm from the southernmost part of Oak Cliff, Dallas, Texas.
Well, give me your closing, man, so we can do this drop. So we can be out.
Well, thank you so much, man. I want to say thank you so much for allowing me to be on this show. The position is keep moving forward.
Move the mic straight to, not the mic, but move the camera to him.
Let's keep moving forward here in Dallas County and to re-elect Mr. Current Justice of the Peace. And one thing I didn't identify earlier is the fact that there's a rise, that we have a rising concern of evictions here. I've actually hosted an eviction release seminar in November of last year, which over 120 people participated online and in person. And this seminar allowed landlords as well as tenants to see different resources and money that's still out there from the county. Because we know Texas rent relief programs are taking 3 to 4 months to even process cases, and it's putting a burden on the landlords as well for getting payment. And so we brought these. So Dallas County has an eviction diversion program in which can pay the rent within about 2.5, maybe 3 weeks. And I can say I'm one of the courts with the highest number of approved applications for that program because we have on-site people at court hearings that are actually screening individuals and going through these programs. I've actually saw that, well, there's an issue, there's an opportunity. We have people that may feel like they didn't get their day in court, which I understand that, which we have your appeal rights. We actually have partnered up with North Texas Legal Aid where they actually have legal staff that is actually outside with a table set up so you can get legal representation as long as you go through their screening process and parameters. To help fight also with evictions, we also have Dallas County Eviction Advocacy Center that practices out of our court as well. So, and again, these are third parties. They're not affiliated with our court, but we make sure that we provide the resources for everybody to have these resources in the event if they feel they didn't get just cause. Also, I do want to go ahead and address as well is I'm big on criminal justice reform. How can we make things more fair? Seeing that I've had a significant increase of juvenile truancies that was actually at my court, as well as at-risk youth, I've created a teen court program to address those youth. I've worked with Grand Prairie's Police Department, and we had collaborated and worked and created a program called the HELP Program, in which you have Grand Prairie's finest police officers that will mentor at-youth kids in unarmed clothes. And so we work with officials, we collaborate and figure out what can we do to move this thing forward and add to criminal justice reform. So I just want to go ahead you to consider me for re-election, Judge Mike Jones, for Precinct 4, Place 1, and have a lot, and we've made a lot of phenomenal changes, and we're going to keep moving forward. So thank you so much, Ed Gray, for having me out here on this show, I really appreciate you allowing me to get here and tell the listeners and make sure that we inform and not misinform our listeners on what you can see out here in the world.
All right. Well, we're glad you came on the show. You know, and earlier today, Cool Kenneth was he was asking me who you were going to have on the show. I said, who?
Mike Jones.
Mike Jones. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. We're getting ready to interview Edward Oakpile, who's running for United States Congress. Looking forward to that interview. That interview will be done on Roku as well, international now, you know. So we're not only are we in the Congo, we're also in Nigeria as well, all across Africa, you know, coming straight to your living room, straight to your Facebook page. Please join the Ed Gray political page and also share this through various platforms. Don't let Facebook shut us down because a nation of millions can't hold us back. All right, let's roll. Hey, how you doing? This is Ed Gray of the Commish Radio Show. Stay tuned and tune in and be up to speed on everything in social justice, human rights, and politics on the Commish Radio Show, airing every Saturday, 5 p.m. on the Fishbowl Radio Network.
Jump in.